what is the creepiest thing your kid has ever said to you?
Well, I was in bed with my 3-year-old reading her a bedtime book, and she said, "Oh, here are those black people." I'm like, "What black people?" She's like, "The black people with the red eyes, right there." And she points, and I look, and I say, "There's nobody there." And she says, "You can't see them?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "They're right there." I'm like, "What are they doing?" She's like, "There's a line of them. They're just walking by and disappearing into the wall. They come every night." You really can't see them? I mean, she's 3.5. She was flabbergasted that I couldn't see them. I immediately ripped that child up, put her in my bed, and then I slept with the full light, not a night light, a full light for over 4 years. I mean, and she continued to see them until she was about 5 or 6, and she still remembers seeing them to this day.
Bruh, did the video go glitchy on you? Was it like she was like, "Oh, your side, bro? Oh, your side." Ah! It was just as soon as the screen, when she flashed on the screen, I wasn't prepared. Was not prepared at all. Wasn't prepared for what she said, because when she said black people, I shouldn't be. But it was really funny to me when she said, "I see black. There go the black people again." I'm getting it together because that was funny. Oh man, but no. If your kid says they see something like that, wouldn't your first thought be, let's get it cleansing. Let's cleanse the air. Let's cleanse it all up. Get some, I don't know what to tell you to get. I don't know what to tell you to get, because we got the anointing oil. The anointed oil all over the place. This house is anointed, saved, Holy Ghost filled. God got us. So I don't know what to tell y'all what to do. I know what we do. We pray, we do anointing oil. Like, yes, that. So yeah, that would be my first thought, bruh. Oh, you seeing stuff that I'm not seeing that's not cool? Like, I'm not hearing this right. Am I? Like, clearly I wasn't. She see black people with red eyes. So yeah, it's time for a cleanse, honey. What are we doing? What are we doing? Did it glitch on your side? Comment below. Comment. Because that was weird. That was weird. I felt weird. I ain't like that. I ain't like that at all.
What about a creepy myth that turns out to be true? In Clifton, Virginia, there is a legend.
Nah. Y'all might not have heard it on y'all side, but I heard it on my side and I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna press play again. I'm gonna press play. This is for me, editing me. I'm about to press play. Here we go.
And myth called the Bunny Man. So in 1904, there was an asylum in Clifton, Virginia, and they started to build new homes in the area. Well, these new residents didn't like the fact that there was an asylum near their homes, so the asylum was shut down and the patients were loaded onto a bus to be transferred to Lorton Prison. While transporting the patients, the bus suddenly crashed under the Clifton Bridge. Every single one of the patients escaped and ran into the woods, and they were to catch every single one of them, except one. The police at the time didn't think anything of it because there was no way that this one patient could survive in the woods on his own. But boy, were they wrong. Soon the residents of Clifton started finding skinned and gutted bunnies all over the town, and we can only assume where they were coming from. But to make it worse, they started seeing a man around town in a creepy bunny suit. Soon, rumors started around the town that the Bunny Man actually lived in the woods next to the Clifton Bridge, so it was soon called Bunny Man's Bridge. A bunch of the kids in schools around the surrounding areas had been told that if you go to the bridge on Halloween night and speak his name 3 times, he'll appear. So 4 boys one Halloween night decided to do that, and they grabbed lanterns and went down to Bunny Man's Bridge. They walked underneath the bridge, set their lanterns on the ground, and then one of the boys began to say, "Bunny Man, Bunny Man, Bunny Man." Suddenly the wind blew, all the lanterns went out, and the boys started screaming. One of them ran out of the tunnel, but then heard a loud noise. He turns around, and to his horror, all 3 of his friends were hanging from the bridge and skinned, just like the bunnies. On the other side of the tunnel, he looks to see the Bunny Man standing there with his hatchet They say that people still go to Bunnyman's Bridge on Halloween, but not very many have lived to tell the tale of what actually happens. And of course, it sounds like your average urban legend or myth for a small town. However, this one is true. Around the 70s and the 80s, there was a bunch of newspaper articles stating that there was a man in a vintage bunny suit going around town with a hatchet and scaring the hell out of residents. But perhaps the scariest thing is they don't know who it was. If you want to hear more, you can check out the podcast I do with my best friend called Eerie Escape. It's linked in my profile, but other than that, do you have any creepy myths?
Girl, I ain't like that at all. I ain't like none of that at all. That's my neighbor over there. The Virginians. Y'all know there's neighbors to North Carolinians. The Virginians. Girl, no. They ain't even cool. Like, what? If you're... Okay. So, if you know that you noticing these things happening, bunnies getting skinned and stuff, gutted and all this stuff, wouldn't you set up surveillance? Because you know this guy is missing? Wouldn't you, like, catch this person? Like, I don't understand where was the disconnect? Why? Did you just give up on catching this person? Like, did the asylum just close or something? Like, sometimes they just be like closing and letting people go free and all this stuff. Like, is that what happened? Like, I need some connections of the dots. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're from Virginia, comment below if you've heard of this story surrounding areas. I'm from North Carolina. I ain't heard that. No, I can't really say that because I don't really hear of a lot of stories because I'm a scaredy cat. So people know not to tell me stories, especially when I was younger. Don't tell me those stories, honey, because I like to sleep, So yeah, I don't know about that. Because if you're finding this person and they came back and you don't know who this person is, that's a little creepy. It'll make you want to do some investigation. Like, want to know? Yeah, I don't know. That's creepy. That's not even like, no. Why would you even? Nah. Why would you even? I can't even ask that. Can I ask that? Yes, I can. Why would you even go back to the bridge and try to figure it out? Why would you try to go get God? See, and try to freak around and find out, girl, bye. I guess it's the same reason why we do the same thing, because we have a bridge. I told y'all about that bridge over here that you go to on Halloween, and you'll pick up this woman, and after you get past the bridge, you look back, she ain't in your car no more. I told y'all about that story, so that might be the same reason. They because they would just want to freak around and find out. But that's different. I don't know. I'm not going to do it.
One of the scariest stories that's ever been told to me actually comes from an old coworker of mine that you would never suspect believes in these types of things. He was always really quiet and I was always really chatty, but he never really conversed back and forth with me until we got on one topic: the paranormal. He told me this story that really happened to him when he was a little boy. So growing up, I guess his dad was really into the occult. He would mess around with the Ouija board when he was with his friends, and one day he asked the Ouija board, "What day am I going to die?" And it answered him. So years pass and this supposed death date is slowly approaching, but he goes to work like any other day, gives his wife and kids a kiss goodbye, and leaves on his motorcycle. And wouldn't you know it, on his way to work, he was backed over by a delivery truck driver and killed. Now, my coworker told me that after his dad's passing, things in their house started to get really strange. His mom was doing dishes one night and saw the reflection of her husband standing behind her in the kitchen window. And after this, she was fully convinced that her dead husband was coming to visit her from the afterlife. So she started leaving a lit candle on the kitchen windowsill every single night, and every single night, without fail, that candle would be blown out. But then one day, my coworker comes home from school as a teenager, and he's home by himself. He's up in his room and he hears somebody calling his name, and it sounds just like his mother. But his mom isn't supposed to be home from work for a few hours, so he goes downstairs and sees nobody, and this really freaks him out. So he goes and stays at his next door neighbor's house until his mom comes home from work. When his mom comes over to the neighbor's house to pick him up when she gets off from work, the neighbor is really concerned for them, and she gives the mom a phone number for somebody who's known to do house cleansings. But my coworker's mom really just thinks that she's communicating with her husband's spirit, so she doesn't take this advice, and things escalate. I don't even have time to get into all of the stories that he told me, but the one that really sticks with me is he was asleep in his bedroom one night when he woke up to someone standing in his doorway watching him sleep. It was his mother. But then the next morning he would confront her and she would have absolutely no idea what he was talking about. He said that that had happened on multiple occasions and that he thought his mom was actually losing it. His mom does eventually reach out to this person to come and cleanse the house. And before doing the cleanse, they do a walkthrough. And this person that's there to cleanse the house looks at the mom after the walkthrough and says, "I think you have a mimic." Now, if you don't know, a mimic is somebody who can copy someone's voice or appearance to try and lure you in. But thankfully, after a few cleanses, things started to go back to normal in their house. And although they sold the house a few years later, I still just cannot get over how creepy that entire experience must have been.
Honey, yeah, nah, that's not. We don't play with them boards, y'all. They're not games. I just heard. If you ever heard, oh, what's her name? Bailey. Serarian? Darn, I cannot think of her last name right now. But Bailey, I know y'all know her on YouTube. I know y'all know her. I know you've seen her videos. She does a little bit of everything. Murder and makeup, murder and mystery. She does those videos. She just did a video on the boards, and apparently they're sold in Toys R Us. Do they even have Toys R Us anymore? I just thought about that. Didn't Toys R Us go bankrupt and then they came back? Maybe. I don't know how they got back. Well, yes, I do. Because I was just about to say, as a child, me and my my step siblings, my fake step siblings, my fake, y'all know, y'all have fake cousins, my fake step siblings. We would always be in Toys R Us, especially Christmas time. We'd be all up in there playing with the toys. Not really buying anything. I don't think we did. Maybe our parents did on Black Friday, and they just took us there to see what we wanted, I guess. But I remember my childhood, I was always in Toys R Us in the mall. Always there, especially Christmas time. It was just lit. It was just, everyone was there. All the kids, like everyone would meet up at Toys R Us. I don't know if y'all did that. Did y'all do that? Comment below if y'all did that. We was always at Toys R Us. It would be packed and everybody would just be playing games like on Home Alone. How that store was literally how Toys R Us was from like these Black Friday on. It was just packed, us kids. So yeah. No, don't play with them boards. I've never seen them in the store. I don't know. Maybe that's not a thing here in North Crackalacken. But even if it was, I wasn't gonna buy it. Like, what are we doing? We're not gonna play with that. My mom has told me her stories about it, and it was just crazy. I'm gonna have to let her get on here and tell you her stories about Ouija boards, bruh. I was just like, I'm never gonna play with it. So yeah, no, not gonna play with it because we know that was not her husband. That wasn't, and that wasn't her. I can't believe. Well, I don't know. We just saw that video. I don't know. It wasn't. I was watching it and there was a video. I told y'all about that video where the woman was there, but it didn't show the front of her or whatever. Like, nope. Y'all be playing games. Ain't nobody got time for that. That in that moment, there should have been a quiz. Y'all should have called. If I was that kid, I would have called the woman, found the number and called the woman for our family. Because that's crazy. That's just ridiculous. Yo, comment below if you got one of them boards. And if you play with one of them boards, be honest. Quick little side note before we get back into it. I know a lot of you guys have your own businesses and side hustles and all that. If you have an online store, comment your link because I want to support you. I know it's hard out here sometimes and some people need a little bit of money. It's about to be Christmas time. I want to support you. Let me buy something from you. I like clothes. I like food. You know I love a good deal. So comment your link, okay? Thank you.
I almost got possessed. I'm gonna tell you about it while I take this off. So if you don't know already, I'm a professional ghost hunter. Me and my partner were ghost hunting at this haunted hotel. Well, it was a motel. Let's start at the beginnings. The reason this motel is haunted is there were 4 murders there since 2021, which is kind of a lot. There's also been like a ton of carjackings and the city wants to shut this whole place down. Actually went as far as saying it's a public nuisance. And some of these murders are unsolved, so we went down to find out why. Now, if you know anything about ghost hunting, you might be familiar with the Estes method. If you're not, I'll just tell you really quick. Basically, the Estes method is where you listen to a radio with soundproof headphones on and the other person asks you questions. You can't hear anything they're saying. The radio flips through stations and you just say whatever you hear out loud. It's said that spirits can manipulate the radio to talk to you. So I was under the Estes method at this hotel and my partner was asking questions. We actually believe we were talking to one of the spirits of someone who died there. We found something horrifying under the mattress. I can't post the picture here, but you can find it on my YouTube. Anyways, I was under the Estes method and then we heard a knock at the door, but I didn't hear anything because I was under the Estes method. So I had soundproof headphones on and I didn't know this was happening. I started hearing a very scary voice just angrily saying, "Let me in." And then immediately after, the voice of the spirit we were originally talking to told us to not let them in. But then they started getting super aggressive and they were pounding on the door. All of a sudden, I start feeling like I'm floating. Like, basically, I'm feeling like my head is no longer attached to my body, but I can still feel my feet, but I'm floating. Honestly, such a weird feeling to explain, but it gets scarier. Every single time this thing is yelling, "Let me in," the other spirit is saying, "Don't, don't, don't." Then I started to feel like I couldn't feel my feet, which is a scary feeling when you're talking to ghosts. I took the headphones off and came out of the Estes method just in time. Because all of the people that watched that video said,
Girl said what? Said what, girl? Girl, what? What is happening? What? It just ended abruptly like that, just abrupt. End. Girl, I don't know. Because I always wanted to, see, he do the essence. What'd she say? The method. And I always wanted, curious to see, like, oh, do you really hear stuff? Because if I heard something, I don't know. Because, Sam and Kobe, I watched them. And hearing them, when they have other people doing it, they get creeped out. Like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I wonder if that's a thing. And if you hear it, now I'm pretty sure I would be creeped out. Friend, y'all playing games. You hearing them saying not, and your partner hearing the knocking. You hearing, "Don't let them in." They're hearing knocking. And your partner just like, how do you know somebody knocking? You know how they know somebody's knocking. A lot. Y'all so brave. So ghost hunters and those people going to haunted houses, they brave. They're a different type of brave. They built differently, honey. Built differently. Subscribe.